All right, let's jump into it. All right, welcome. Welcome to Stop Thinking Like a Marketer, How to Get Your Sales Team to Use LinkedIn. This is part of our industrial marketing webinar series. My name is Adam Beck. I'm the Director of Marketing at Cadenas Part Solutions. We help industrial manufacturers, component manufacturers, architectural component manufacturers provide digital content and engineering content to their audience. Today, I'm joined by a fantastic industrial marketer, Greg Mischio, from Winbound. They're an industrial marketing agency out of Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
Yeah, so just some quick ground rules for this. It's similar to the last one. Those of you that attended, don't hold back. If you have questions, ask it in real time. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the feed. I'm sort of going to be an audience member for this one. Again, I'm excited about that because Greg has a lot of insights that I'm excited to hear. We'll try to stop and pause and answer those in real time because I think with so many different topics throughout this, having questions happen when we're on that topic will facilitate a good conversation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Greg.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Adam, and thanks everybody for attending today. And as Adam mentioned, please feel free to share comments and ask questions. You're actually going to see in this presentation a lot of ideas that we discovered when I put this post out on LinkedIn, of all places, and a lot of people shared some great ideas. So we are here to learn as well as to share some of these ideas. So again, stop thinking like a marketer, getting your sales team to engage on LinkedIn. There's a horsey and there's a guy drinking the water. And if you're a marketer, I'm sure you can imagine which one you are in the picture. And we'll get back to that in a little bit. A little bit about Winbound here. We use content to help manufacturers make a digital twin of their sales team. So Gartner estimates by the year 2025, up to 80% of the sales interactions are going to take place in digital channels. So what we say as a marketer is we want to use content to help you make a digital twin of your sales team. So we do this digital marketing approach, small marketing teams, specializing in manufacturing and industrial clients, but this approach works for any B2B company. Just some of our clients in the industrial and in the B2C space and some of the performance there. So let's jump into this. Really, as we're trying to create this digital twin of the sales team, we're really trying to understand how salespeople interact, how they get their leads, how they prospect. And we've, as marketers, and I'm sure there's a lot of marketers on this call, there's always been a vexing problem to try and get your sales team on LinkedIn. And it's kind of like that first slide, trying to lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Marketers always pull their hair out. And that's why we call this Stop Thinking Like a Marketer, Start Thinking Like a Salesperson. And you really have to understand, get out of your mindset as a marketer and get into theirs. And the main reason why I believe salespeople aren't engaging on LinkedIn is they're not content creators. So a lot of training, and we've done this ourselves, is all about, hey, you got to get out there. You got to make content. It's easy. Go ahead. Well, you know what? It's not easy, not for salespeople. They tend to be everybody has this kind of perception of salespeople. They're real outgoing and they're friendly and they're talkative and they're the life of the party. And I agree with that. I love hanging out with salespeople. They're a blast in groups and interpersonal communications, but they're not content creators like a lot of marketers are. I don't know if you feel that way, Adam, but that's kind of how I look at it. That's just not their jam. They're not gonna sit down, and they're not writers and and creatives.
Well, that's why they're great. To me, that's why they're great resources to get content, like like you're talking about, make a digital twin of your sales team or whatever that is. They're an invaluable resource when it's distilled from the sales team to the marketing team to turn that into a written piece of content. But finding the ways for them to either leverage that, or how to do more with that on LinkedIn or wherever else is, I think, the key.
Exactly. So, and it's really, it kind of comes down to this stat here, and you've probably heard this in some form or another, the 99-1 principle. Only 1% of the people on the internet are really content creators. The rest are these contributors, and then the remainers are lurkers, which is kind of a spooky term. But I think the hotspot to me is the marketer's roles as the creator. And what the goal of this webinar is today is to how do we get the salespeople to be contributors? If we can make them contributors, that would be great. And I will tell you that there are salespeople out there who are hybrids. They are the unicorns, and they are great content creators. There's a guy named Jake Hall in the manufacturing space, who does fantastic content and videos. And Chris Lukey was a salesperson at Rockwell International and started his own podcast. There are, these are the people though that marketers don't have to lead to water. They're already at the watering hole, years ago. And once they see opportunity, they're going to go get it, and they're great content creators.
You've seen
So,
Marcus Sheridan, right?
Marcus Sheridan, the sales
He's
line.
Yeah, he's the ultimate.
Yeah,
He took all that energy and focused it from sales directly into content creation, and it can be done. It's
it can
yeah.
be done, but I think again, there's an entrepreneurial person who took it upon himself. He saw the opportunity, and he really built his own personal brand. I think the people like Jake and Chris Lukey, they're adept at building their own personal brand, and they're great at it. Here most salespeople and companies, though, they're not that focused on that. They just want to sell, they want to make a living, they want to be really good, and that's why I think they've got a good spot as contributors.
Well, I think your point here to move them from lurkers to contributors is that's like what everyone should be shooting for, as opposed to hopping into the creator zone, because that's where, like we were talking before, it's like, oh, you should learn to play guitar. Here's a video of Eddie Van Halen. Watch him
Yeah,
play.
right.
Like, oh yeah, well, great. Like that's what people think when they see some of these great marketers or great, Marcus Sheridan is definitely a hybrid. They see that it's like climbing Mount Everest. That's an insurmountable task. I'm not even going to try. And
It's too
so
daunting.
making it achievable and bite size, and something that you can see results with an encapsulated amount of work and effort, and that's what we want to do at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a content creator, and I'm intimidated by some of these people, how much they put out. So let's talk then. So that was step one, is just to get your mind around that they're not going to be these content creators. Step two is to create a sales-friendly training program based on goals. Now think about the salesperson. What are they motivated by? Sales, right? Sales. You got to speak their language. So um, build a program that's more speaks to their language. And here's some things you could do. Try and build an activity-based program. Um, Strive for goals like connections and meetings. That's what they're used to achieving, and that's what they want to do to build relationships. And then in the end, find a way to tie it back into sales. Um, as David Fisher, he contributed this post. And by the way, at the end of the presentation, this is all based on a post I wrote, and we're going to share a link to it. And you'll see a lot of these insights in this article, and you can read it. But here's one of the contributors. Dave D. Fish, as he's called. A lot of initial work I do with client sales team is to help them understand how LinkedIn digital fits into their existing sales process and actually makes it easier. The mindset has to come before the skill sets and the tool sets. So if you can set these goals up for activity, connections, sales, and show them a path, and then once you set those goals, there should be some results on the other end so they can see that. Just trying to give them an open end, like you got to connect on LinkedIn for a salesperson, that's too open-ended. There's nothing concrete at the end of it, no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
I'd want to highlight the thing that you don't have on here, which is in mail, which I do not think is the best. Not that it should never be done, but I think a sales team a lot of times thinks that's the best part of LinkedIn. You friend somebody, and then you have another communication avenue for them. You got their phone number, their email address, and now you got their in-mail, which it's fine, but it tends to, I know mine gets worn out, and I'm not quite as receptive to an in-mail as I would be to a normal organic conversation.
I agree. I agree with that. I really only connect with people that actually seem like they know me and they're not coming in with a sales pitch right out of the gate. You know, they're just trying to make connections and build their network. And I think that's a realistic goal for people. So let's move on to the next thing. If we're going to create that sales friendly training, train them in short chunks. So I'll tell you what, there's this good looking guy here, his LinkedIn profile. When I sit down and we've done sales training or LinkedIn training with sales teams, what we do is we do it in a workshop format. And I like to do one-on-one with somebody. So I'll get on a call, like I'll get Adam on the phone, on the Zoom call here, and we'll actually, we'll go and do a workshop on his page. You know, I don't just throw up a
Mine
PowerPoint.
probably needs
Yeah, right. You certainly do here, Adam. No, but we try and get them to learn by doing. And so this page, we would bring up his profile, take a look at it. I don't focus too heavily on the profile. I find that I want to get them engaging right away. So we'll just start going through their feed and getting them used to, how do you make a comment? How do you tag somebody? Tagging is a huge art and something that salespeople don't take advantage of enough and know quite how to use. And then we just go through like how to make a connection, and it's kind of funny because it's really just about being a normal salesperson as how you would go up to somebody and just interact with them as you would in a room or wherever at an event, and just getting them comfortable and showing them how to do it and then having them do it while you're sitting there watching. And we do it like 5 days in a row, and then just watch them do it and get them comfortable on the platform. So like half hour each chunks in the morning.
Okay. You don't get into, you know, we're not like refining because I probably could. I've worked on my little intro blurb on my LinkedIn post 20 times and I've never put it up, so it just has my generic title up there. Things like
Yeah.
that. Do you worry about those things, or is that like more advanced?
Not out of the gates.
Yep.
Because here's why, Adam. If you're not going to, why would I spend like 2 weeks or whatever getting your profile set up if you're not even going to be on the platform, So I want you to get in there, and then I also want you to look at other people's platform and come to me and be like, I need to upgrade this.
Yep. Yep.
And you do see some stuff out there that you really like, and plus it's you. I would say like here, you definitely could get something up in the background here, um, whether you're promoting yourself or your company. But I,
Yeah.
the
Those.
per
I'm promoting large gray blocks is what I'm here to promote.
it's like modern art. It's
Yeah. Abstractions. Yeah.
so all right. So train in short chunks. So let's keep it moving here. Um, so again, using engagement tactics, get them. What was the term? To go from lurkers to contributors. So how do we get them to contribute, and how do we get them to engage? So the number one way, the best way to do it is leave comments. So this from Todd Cordell. All good salespeople understand customers and can add relevant comments to a conversation, whether offline or online. It's about comfort and habit. It's not much of a comfort zone stretch to send a LinkedIn message to someone that replies to your comment. And I think what Todd's really getting here at is that, yeah, people aren't content, they might not be content creators, but they know how to react. And you'll see them on LinkedIn. You see people leave comments all the time, and they have an opinion. And that's all you're asking them to do is get on, show your expertise by just leaving your opinion. And your expertise is going to show through just by leaving comments. So to me, this is a great place to start. And it's a great way to get out there and leave a comment and make a connection with somebody. And I'll show you a few more examples as we
We
move
actually have
through.
a question, and I have a couple questions too, to sneak into here. But before you get to your, so Joe asked, what level of engagement should be done from a company's profile versus the individual representative's profile? Should the efforts be duplicated or one-sided?
Okay. I'm going to get to, thanks, Joe. I'm going to get to the company
Okay.
page in a second. I would say, really, from a company page, what you're trying to do, the best way to grow your followers with your company page is to just get content published on the page. Really good content. Continue to get that on the page. And as people engage with you, comment back, comment to them. But I'm going to show what you can do from a sales perspective for your people to get the word out and have them comment on your company page. So we'll get to that in a second. Are there more questions?
Well, we've got a hand raised. Julie has a hand raised, but I'm not sure if she has a question. So if she has a question, pop it in the questions box and we'll get to it.
Maybe she needs to go to the restroom. Julie, it's down the hall to the right. Okay.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Okay, keep going. But maybe that was our question. So here's a great, if you go to the post that we'll put at the end, this is a great grid that my friend Carrie Brown put together. And she gives some ideas on what's a good example of a comment, just to get people rolling here. Um, you know, Obviously you don't want to be confrontational, you don't want to make enemies, and I think that's the beauty of LinkedIn is a lot of the vitriol you see on other social networks. I don't see it that much on this site. And so it's a great place to be positive and to engage and learn quite a bit. So, you can share articles, you can leave opinions, comments on opinion pieces, things like that. Definitely, if you're trying to get in with a company or you're want to engage with a prospect, you know, champion when they have an announcement, celebrations, things like that. This is a great grid to work off of. Okay,
So I have one, if you go back one, about negative comments
sure.
or complaints, that your last row there, because I tell people avoid them at all cost. Time and place thing. I also, my rule of thumb is, what would you talk about with somebody that's sort of like at a cocktail party? You don't know this person very well. How deep do you get into like the real hot button topics, and how negative do you go on what you say? Try to keep it light. But I've also seen where people put negative comments and it starts the debate and the post blows up. And that could be encouraging to someone to think, oh, that's how we do it. But it can
Hmm.
also make people kind of pucker up and want to be like, I don't know. So what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, Adam, I have not encountered it that much on LinkedIn to the point where people are really bothered by it. I mean, I see a lot of great constructive conversations. We're in the marketing space. People will have opinions on best ways to do it, but usually people are just talking about strategies or coming up with ideas. And I don't really see, it's not like politics or religion or anything like that. And
Yeah.
I really don't see that much on the platform. So I don't see anything. I run into a case. I had a guy call me out. I had interviewed somebody and wrote a post about IT and operating systems or operating technology in the manufacturing space, to which I'm not an expert. And he made some kind of comment like, I don't you're just out here making noise and just trying to, get attention, let the experts speak. And I was like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I try not to give him much space. I just said, look, I'm just trying to help people out. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, I don't see it that much, but if it does come, there's people, again, back to Jake Hall, he does a lot of content, and he did one, I think it was about Gen X. They did a really funny thing where they're going to say like Gen X versus Gen Y, why both, the gist was both generations care about manufacturing, but how do you reach both of them? And a couple people got like all upset about they were got defensive about their generation. And it just that gets
Yeah.
discouraging, but that just really doesn't happen that much on the platform, at least not to me.
Yeah. We've had, I'm thinking of two or three examples over the last few years where it was a little bit, not like something just like you're saying, like let the experts talk or whatever, and then it turns into a little bit of a debate. But it oddly helped the visibility and the view and the reactions on the post, but nobody was happy that it did it like that. So it's kind of one of those things, you try to
Right.
avoid that and not get into those areas.
And again, it happens so seldom that I don't
Yeah,
even, we have no slides here, or,
yeah,
great advice for you.
yeah.
I think you can block people. I'm not sure. So I'm sorry I don't have a better answer
No,
for
no,
you.
that's
But
fine. Yeah,
so here's that question about the company posts and what's the role of the company, back to Joe's question. So here's Winbound's page. And what I do is I do a couple things off of this. I think, again, we've gone the route where we try to teach salespeople, company salespeople about, creating, posting to their page and things like that. I think this is really an easy way if you create content and you tag the people or notify the people, you can notify people when you've got a company post up, and then they can leave comments and, whoops, sorry about that. Um, this is the tagging coming into play here. So I just left a comment here. You can either like leave a comment, which is an easy way to get it out there and get your company posts out there, and you can tag people. So tagging, it just means you type what is it, what do you call the A inside the little
an at
circle
sign,
there?
right?
Is it the at sign?
Sure.
All right. I didn't know. I
I
didn't
don't know.
know
Let's go
that
with
was the
that.
official name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that your Adam? You're like the lookup guy. You're like the right. So you gotta.
Okay, I'm gonna be the fact checker. All right.
I think it is the at sign. I just didn't know that got made official. So I'm out of the loop a little bit. So it is the at sign, and then you start typing in the name of the person you want to tag, and it fills in there. So I tagged a couple of the people that work at Winbound, and then I started tagging our clients for International Women's Day. And they responded, people love to get tagged. It'll show up that they've been notified. And it's a great way to engage with content and tag people, prospects, people in your network that you want to stay in front of. The other way you can do it is share the post. And I've got an example of that
Yes,
coming up.
this is fact checking complete. This is called the at sign. It's or the commercial at glyph.
Okay. All right. I do think that thing existed before
It
all
did,
social
and
media.
nobody ever used it. Yeah,
Nobody used it, so nobody even cared what it was called. All right.
yeah.
All right. This is a really interesting tactic that is used by John Buglino. And what he does is he says engage with some polls, not all, um, and by simply checking your answer is not enough. So in the LinkedIn post that we'll share with you, he's got, or I'm sorry, the Winbound blog post. he's got this whole process down where he gets in, he'll leave a comment on a poll. And do people know what I'm talking about with a poll? There's polls on LinkedIn where you've probably seen them in your feed.
They're like, what's your favorite color, red, green, or blue? And you pick one.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw one of those today, and some of them you can just tell they're trying to just get some traction and get a bunch of people to respond and things like that. I've done, I don't think I've done any of those, but what I just try and do is really think about what's important to your industry. And this from a marketing team. I don't believe you can create polls on company pages. I might be wrong on
I'm
that.
not sure. Yeah.
Don't believe you can. But once you see somebody put up a poll, hopefully it's important. And I think I did one like, I think I said like, do you write your LinkedIn post ahead of time or do you do it the morning of? And leave a comment. And people, those things, if you get a good one, those things can just take off and you get so many comments out there.
We have 4 responses here. Kelly, Maggie, Megan, and Julia all say, with exclamation points, companies can create polls.
They can.
Yep.
There you go.
We learned something.
You're like, these guys aren't experts.
I never
What
claimed
are
to
they
be.
doing? Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But absolutely. So what John does is he goes in, he responds, and he'll leave a comment, and then he'll comment on other people's. And if it's a topic that's important to you, these are great potential connections as a salesperson.
But the
And
point
then
is, don't just click the whatever poll option because that's like a half engagement.
exactly.
Actually keying something in and contributing to the conversation.
And I'm telling you, there are some amazing comments that get left, and you'll see some people on there that you really want to connect with. And so he'll wait, and then he'll wait till the poll is closed. I think his whole actual process is in the post itself.
Okay.
But he'll go back in there, and then he'll follow up with all those people who left comments. And that's a great way. That's like your foot in the door. And I've done this a lot, where it's like, hey, Bob, I saw you responded to that poll. Loved your comment. Let's connect. And that's so much more powerful than somebody just coming in out of the blue and just saying, "Hi, Adam. I want to sell something to you. Let's connect."
Yeah,
Right? Got
for sure.
something in common. All right. Another tactic I think is really easy and fun to do, and it kind of goes along with what John was saying, is go and find the influencers who are out there. Go find the content connectors. And first of all, start to engage with their content. Well, first of all, it's going to be good, right? So like Jake Hall, again, I've brought him up a couple times, produces tremendous videos.
I
And
don't know how he does the volume of posts that he does with these videos.
well, he does. He's one of these guys who doesn't sleep, I believe. I
Yeah.
also think he was created. He is an Android manufactured by the manufacturing
Is
industry
that why
to
the Cubs hat, they're hiding something under their computer?
the circuitry. Um, so he posts a lot, and a lot of people, influential people, great people in the manufacturing industry, they'll leave comments. Leave a comment of your own, and you'll see. Then you can just go down the line of all the people that commented and look for great people you'd like to connect with. Andrew Hood right here. He's a super guy in the manufacturing space, and I probably saw him leave a comment, and I connected with him at some point. Again,
I think that's
simple.
probably how I know you because
Exactly.
you met Joseph through him and I met you through Joseph and
It's
the chain continues.
here we are, right?
Yep.
Exactly. And I tell you what, it's not a heavy lift. It actually is fun. Once you become part of a community and you start to get to know people, then you're like you belong to something. And that more than anything, I think would really get a lot of salespeople excited, you know. So let's just keep moving. What else we got here?
Zoe, we
Oh,
have a comment from Zoe. It says, "It worked with me, Greg," in regards to comments.
all right. There you go, Zoe. Oh, Zoe Morrison. Hey, Zoe. Uh, Zoe's does some great work for us. So, um, all right. So next one here. Um, reward the content creators. Um, this is this is kind of along the same lines, but what I did here was I didn't go in on a content creator's post and do anything. I just simply, what I did was take, now I did a little bit of content creation here, but it was kind of easy to do. There's a tool called Snagit, and I just kind of took a picture. You can just use it to screen capture somebody, and you can put in little like boxes there. It's super easy to use, and actually it's a great thing, great tool to use for anybody, just to create simple little graphics in a heartbeat. And I just created this little picture here and called out Tony and Troy Simpson. And I just got a little picture of his podcast in there. And all I just said was, man, I listened to this show and these guys were great. You know, I left some comments about something cool that Troy had to say. And, you know, a lot of views of the post in the feed, applause from people. Megan Ziemba is a great person to connect with in the manufacturing space. And then comments. And you know what's going to happen too is, especially like Troy, if he says something, people in his company are going to see it, and you can make connections that way as well. So again, rewarding those content creators is a great way to do it.
And paying it forward, you know.
Paying it forward, absolutely. I mean, we when we do a training for content creators, we do that a lot where well, to say like I'm, you know, I was talking to you, Adam, before we got on about somebody who came over and helped me set up my space for video a little bit better, and I'm going to create a little video about her and just put it out there. You know, that's when you're getting into the point about content creating. But you know, for anybody, you can just put a picture of somebody on, or even just write text. You don't need a graphic at all, and just say, hey, this person did a great job, love working with them, whatever. Share what they do and pay it forward, and it really pays off. All right. Now, here's the thing that I don't think people do enough. They get so focused on the comments and the connections, and they forget what you're trying to do here is really build these connections, you know, beyond the platform. So Will Healy is also awesome to follow, especially if you're in the manufacturing space. I first started on LinkedIn because of some savvy salespeople in our team that fully realized really early that this was a resource and a value for them. The best are out there connecting and direct messaging with people during doing the network that they do best. They are regularly turning virtual introductions into real relationships. So if you make those connections with people, and again, don't just think sales, think referrals. Think about referral sources. Is there somebody I can connect with who might down the road be beneficial to me and might be part of my referral network? I remember somebody asked me, has LinkedIn worked for you? And I tried to think of like direct, hi, I saw you on LinkedIn. I need your help. Let's do this. And I couldn't think of too many of those, but I looked through our client list and almost all of them are referrals that came via LinkedIn. So you have to approach it
Nothing
as,
is a one-to-one anymore. There's
yeah,
so many touch points, and it's you know it's a very good touch point and a reason to, especially like we tell our sales team, you're having, if you can't get a hold of somebody and you send them 5 emails and you have some 5 voicemails, like a couple of their posts, comment on a couple of their posts. Don't be like asking them for things in a comment on a post, but tactfully, and it can be like just a little tap on the shoulder. Remember that you're there, whatever that next thing is, just to make yourself, you're more of a human on LinkedIn than you are via email or whatever thing. other communication method you might be using. So that's nice. You have a face, and there's more to it. So use it strategically and don't be creepy about it, but use it to keep the conversation alive.
Yeah, I think what the term is top of mind, right? Just you're always there. Don't let people forget about you.
Yeah, we've got a question. Could you comment on the ratio of views, comments, likes, and how best to create more responses to your post?
I guess from a content creator perspective, we're talking a lot here about just trying to get people to engage and getting our salespeople just to be contributors. From a content creation standpoint, the things I tend to do, first of all, it always comes down to the content. Even if you have a well-produced, great graphic, you've done everything super well, unless you've got a hot topic out there, um,
Or
it,
real. It doesn't have to be hot, but it has to be genuine, I think, especially on this kind of thing. Yeah.
yep, absolutely. And the other thing is like, here's where a marketer can think like a salesperson. I've been reading the Challenger Sale, and the a book which I encourage all marketers to read more sales book. It's really been helping me lately, and the Challenger Sale is all about sharing information that will help people move their business forward. So, if you're sharing expertise or thoughts about something, share some stuff that will really help people move their business forward. When I did this post, and again, we'll share this with you, and now it's turned into a webinar that actually Adam reached out to me and he's like, I like this post. Can we do a webinar on this? And I'm like, sure. Okay, great. Um,
Yeah, that's one of those things that it's a win-win for everyone. I admittedly am not great on LinkedIn, and I'm always trying to improve. And I'm always trying to, it's one of those things I have to do, so good. So my sales team will do so good, and so on, so I have to, you're leading by example, and you're leading it even better by example. So I think that was perfect synergy for us too.
right. And so what happened is, I think to the question about how do you generate more comments. So I wrote a post and I gave some advice. I actually put out like I think 4 or 5 tips on how to get your salespeople to engage in LinkedIn. And I put it out there. And I tagged a few of my friends. So I always tag people who I know are going to respond to kind of get the ball rolling. And man, that just opened up the floodgates. And the post did, I mean, we're not talking about a viral post that got, millions of views, but it got a lot of really great quality insights out of it. And then I turned all those insights into a blog post. And, here we are. And so they made my comments all that much better, and led me to build the posts that kind of result in this. So I would say share numerous things that can help people move their business forward, and then tag people. If you have a great study or something like that, some research you've read about, that's always great to share. I think that's been really successful. And honestly, text, video doesn't really matter as long as it's great, as long as because the text is performing just as well as video in a lot of cases.
Yeah, Mary Keogh, her posts are fantastic, and they're a deep dive. They're 300 words sometimes. She's great. She always has a good hook. Though she's one of those ones, if I show it to somebody, they're like, well, I quit. I'm never going to even be able to do this.
Is
But
that right?
she's one of the ones that I watch, and I've thrown out posts of mine before because I don't. It's like, well, this is either not genuine or it's kind of a BS, like me trying to force one. And I see hers and like MJ Peters, uh, and there's a lot of people that text heavy. There's tends to be a story or something else in there. And again, we're not asking the sales team to do that, but you could take notes and nuggets from that. You could find just the general gist of what they're doing, or how to have a little bit of a hook, and then backfill that with a good post that it kind of explains and gets the conversation started.
Well, and to your point, Adam, I mean, like, you might not be that much of an incredible marketer or salesperson, Well, what you can be good at is sharing great ideas. So if you like Mary's stuff, here's 5 things that Mary said, and here's 2 more that Greg said, and I'm going to tag both these guys, and I'm just going to share their knowledge with them because wow, these people are killing it.
Yep.
Um, that stuff, that's great. We're marketers. We're really good at stealing other people's ideas. So absolutely do it. Just make sure you give them some
It
credit.
seems
So
like everybody in the industrial space is really cool about it. As far as, you know, be friendly, building each other up all the time. I think it's a great atmosphere.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, I haven't. I guess I really started to focus. I was kind of industry agnostic for many years. And then I just really kind of focus on manufacturing. And yeah, it's kind of blown me away how supportive the industry is.
Yeah, it's really cool. We do have two questions here. One, I tag companies in my posts often. What do I do if the company I'm trying to tag doesn't have a LinkedIn profile?
What I would try and do is I don't really try and engage with company. I try and engage with people in the company. Are you using Navigator, Sales Navigator? If they
It
are,
doesn't say. Yeah.
in Sales Navigator, you can actually see who's posted on the last 45 days on LinkedIn. You have to kind of have to, I think it's in the search function, you can find that out. So you can find out who's active on there. Um, if you really want to engage with a company and want them to engage with their content, you're going to have to pay it forward and go and comment on some of their pages. But really, there's a person behind the controls there, and trying to find that person and make friends with them is probably what I would do. I don't know what you're trying
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. She does not use Navigator. She lists them as report kind of, but yeah, I agree. Find a human and tag them. And then, that could change from there too, but start finding people and it's all
And
people anyway.
it and I never tag somebody unless I know them or have some sort of relationship with them. And then they know I do that, and it, just tagging somebody out of the cold or tagging tons of people, I'm not a big fan of, just so they'll get some response. And there's a lot of people who do that. I'm not a big fan. So,
So, and then we have one about hashtags. Do you
okay.
have thoughts on hashtags? How many should be in a post?
Yeah, I think they're good. I'm honestly, I'm not the expert on hashtags, and I've not figured out a way to really make great use of them. I think they're great, like to research, like search on them, and then go like, so if you're going to search on manufacturing marketing, hashtag manufacturing marketing, then you can jump in on posts that people are putting out there. So if you find popular posts, then it's a great way to find stuff to comment on. So that's how I'd use it more. And then, yeah, if you find one that's good and you see there's a lot of people out there,
But it's not
put that
like
in.
Instagram where you have a feed of people that you don't really know. And that's where LinkedIn is basically people that you've connected with and you're seeing their stuff happen down your screen, which is why it's an okay thing for LinkedIn, but I don't know that I'd put much stock in it. I'd put some probably fairly broad ones in there.
I think it's great around events and like going to trade shows to
Yep.
jump in on that stream. But I don't think it has quite the usage that Instagram or like Twitter does, where there's some event coming on and you can just get in on that conversation.
Yeah, Megan says she's read no more than 6, but she sees people use way more than that. So it might not be a hard rule. And then Roger says investing in the pay for supplement that LinkedIn, is that worthwhile? Pros, cons? And that might be a little bit off topic here, but that's a whole other thing, right?
Yeah, getting into paid advertising, you can spend a lot of money really fast. So
Or LinkedIn Navigator.
oh,
That
on
might be
LinkedIn
what he's asked.
Navigator?
Yeah, to
Yeah,
build your audience.
um, great way to do research, great way to find out who's on LinkedIn. You can use it as almost like a pre-CRM to keep track of people, see when their company posts. So definitely, I think it's got a lot of merit, and it's a good way to just see people in the feed. So and it's not, what is it, like $70 or something a month? So
Oh shoot,
I think it's
I need
worth
to
it.
get it then.
Yeah, come on, Adam. What are
Yeah,
you doing?
geez, get with the times.
Got the banner, got to get the LinkedIn Navigator.
I know. Like I said, I'm coming here to learn.
All right, all right. So we got a couple more slides and then we're done. Okay, so we talked a lot about trying to get, your sales team online. So what can marketing do? So you can support their efforts. Megan Ziemba does this. She talks about sending out a weekly email with links to the content you've posted. I mean, you can definitely always notify them when you post to your company page. She takes it a step further. Um, Talk to your sales team. Really should be trying to get monthly meetings set up with them. Find out let them know face to face what you're doing and what you're pushing out that month, and get them excited about it. And then get some thoughts from them on what they've seen on LinkedIn and what they'd like to see you create as on the company page to help them out. Communicate any negative, positive reviews. So that stuff's always great. Again, the negative, I'm not so sure I've seen too much of it, but you should be aware of it. If there's somebody saying some negative things about your company, if you work at a bigger place, and then again, create that content based on what they need, and then review the success metrics. We start out talking about the program and the system. I mean, really, it's so easy to get excited and to get started on LinkedIn. The real secret and the people who win at it is the people who keep going after month number one, and it becomes a habit. And I will tell you from my experience, once you get hooked on LinkedIn and you get into it and you build those communities, it's actually really hard to quit. Like I actually took a step back last month, and was just working on some internal things. And boy, I got the itch to get back on there because it's just fun to be part of the community and be on social.
We on your first bullet, we actually have an internal. We use Teams for we have like a chat, and there's like an all team chat that we post in real time when we have a company LinkedIn post. We try not to do more than one a day to wear out the sales team, but or the whole team. Everybody's welcome to comment and get in the conversation there, share it out, whatever. Use it. We're thinking of each of those as a bullet for the sales team. Like, here we go. We're serving one up for you. Use it as you like.
Yeah, I like that. That's even more immediacy. Like it could be like right in the morning. I think too, like structuring your day where it's like pay yourself first, it's like investing, like pay yourself first. Get your LinkedIn done for the first thing in the day. Just get it out there and it's
Yeah.
done. Take 15 minutes. It's not going to take that much. But it's if you're just continuously doing it, then and I'll tell you, I just by doing that once a day, 15 minutes a day, I've had people go like, "Man, you are LinkedIn famous. I see you on there all the time." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm on there like 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, whatever."
Well done. Well done.
Yeah,
I know I try to keep a running list of, I don't try to write anything ahead of time, but I try to keep a list of topics, or if I have an idea, I just keep, that could be a good nugget because I'll have like 5 ideas in one day and then 0 ideas for 10 days.
right.
So, yeah, I try to keep just a running list of those to work from.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Adam. I mean, I try to write my stuff out ahead of time, and it has kind of got to be a drag. It's like kind
Yeah.
of fun to just sit down and create, and then it's not so overwhelming. Like to try and sit down and create 10 posts is, or 5 for the upcoming week, then it gets to be kind of a drag. But
Yeah.
again, we're getting back into the content creating part of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Salespeople are not going to find all that much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So finally, remember the 80-20 rule. There's some people that the salespeople, 20% of your salespeople are going to be your top performers. And that's probably going to be the people who are actually going to take advantage of your LinkedIn post. So I'd try and give them the love and support and don't worry about the rest of the people. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And Adam was really interested in drinking some of this water.
Yeah, that's some dingy looking water there.
Yeah, I think that
Those
guy.
cows back there weren't hanging out in that water at all. It also looks like there's some potential for a crocodile to be in that water somewhere, and that guy's in a whole different situation at that point.
There's so many problems that guy has right at the
I know.
moment. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
and how about a canteen? You know, you
I
bought the
know,
saddle.
I
How
know.
about a canteen to go with it? So a couple bonus things. I promised this. That's the sales, the blog post that we wrote on this. Um, and I don't know if you're doing a follow up on this
Yeah,
or we want to just share this in the chat. But we can send them this deck and it'll be on there. The digital twin manufacturing marketing strategy that I alluded to earlier, how to use content to create a digital twin of your sales team. On our website, we've got the whole strategy written out for you to take a look at. It's all based on being a salesperson online, creating know you, like you, trust you content. So that's there for the taking on the digital twin. And so we'll share the deck.
yeah, yeah. We'll share the video and the deck by Monday at the
Okay,
latest. I'll get the video down and we'll have a post on our site, and I'll get you a link to the video so you can share it as well.
awesome. If I share it, will you comment on it, Adam?
Indeed, I will.
All
Yes.
right, good. All right, and a special bonus from Winbound. So we do this thing called the content scorecard. And what we'll do is we'll come in, we'll evaluate the content quality. We just look at one page, the home in three strategic places, kind of this know you, like you, trust you sequence. But we'll look at your home page, your product page, and your blog page. We'll review the conversion elements on your site and provide you with a benchmark score. So this is it's kind of an interactive PDF we use, and we'll score this on your site. And then you'll have just kind of a benchmark as you improve the content on your site. If we find there's some issues, some things, some places some things you might be missing. It's really proven to be a pretty valuable tool. I'm happy to do one of those for you for your website. If you're interested, you can just email me or connect with me on LinkedIn if you're interested. So that's a freebie for attending and listening to Adam and I make fun of cowboys who are first
Apparently
covered.
that foot. Zoe says that's Wyoming, so it's crocodile free. But Julia says awesome meme. Uh, Perfect. Well, thank you, Greg, for jumping in and doing this with us today. I know I learned a few things. I'm sure everyone else did too. So um, we will be sending a follow-up email, like I said, in the next couple days. Um, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone at the next one.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. Thanks
Thank you.
everybody for showing up.
All right.